that as healing units get more survivability, they also lose speed, making their ability to move less important as they're healing.
Right. I mean, that's kind of true for a lot of units, though. You know, increased survivability.
But like tanks don't have to stop to shoot. Why can't healing units stop?
Well,
I like this idea.
I mean, again, though.
I love if healing units kept.
But, you know, okay, listen. Especially when it comes to fixers, if they are trying to heal something stationary, they're just going to wander the hell away and only heal them for a short amount of time, though. That's sort of a problem.
Yeah, but we can put them on C now.
Yeah, true. And I guess, theoretically...
You can tell the fixers to not stupidly wander away and die whenever they're done doing what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the whole Orders thing is. That's why they were given that, almost.
Yeah, and I guess theoretically the healing while moving would benefit most in a mass commanded group, so yeah, that's something that we might want to bring up. Healing units are not really utilized in a mobile clump almost ever, really. They're always just sitting there for artillery war. Am I right or am I right?
I would say you're correct there. I think as soon as you've made the decision push, you stop getting healing units. They usually can't keep up. They can't actually do any healing. Their healing is completely outweighed by the DPS from the defenders, and you're usually better off just building more tanks instead of healing units.
If there was an overshield unit, that would be cool. I would just make a crap load of those when I pushed.
You don't want to get over to the overshield discussion now, do you?
That would naturally be just as applicable on defense. Every weapon you give the offense also goes to the defense.
And that is the double edge. That is AirMech.
Yes, I will definitely
the
re-listen.
That is unattainable.
Don't say that. Well, you can say that.
Too late.
What's Bungie saying? But it's extremely important, though, keeping healing units in pushes, but probably off topic. I mean, we're talking about fixers here, so most of the time fixers are faster than tanks, which frequently, if you're going to put them in a set of moving units, they're going to be in tanks. You're not going to send them with jackals and stuff like that. So if you have a bunch of fixers and tanks and a big clump and then send them off, I mean, the fixers will be able to keep up with the tanks. So they'll be able to heal and move, and their healing rate will be sufficient enough that they will compare to if they were stationary. So, but I mean, here's the thing: how functional is that in an actual push? Like you said, Frisky, you might as well just build more tanks, spend your build time and credits on that, and just send more tanks for the push. Also, because what the hell do healing units do?
Well, they also salvage.
That's true. I don't know. That's also on the topic list. Damn it! You should have seen it.
I just like trying to push the balance towards a game where diverse unit tax is encouraged, where having tanks, pure tanks, might not be your best unit composition. You'd want tanks with some anti-air, not mass anti-air, with some buckies for extra DPS. The buckies maybe do more DPS than tanks, but will have less survivability. Maybe you'd want to throw some Joes in there because tanks and buckies can't heal infantry or anything. You know, that would be interesting if you had 5 kinds of units in a push, and that would be naturally stronger than mass 1 unit, whatever that unit happens to be.
And you know, that's
whatever makes offense better, whatever you just said, if it makes offense better, it makes attacking easier than fending, you have my input. You get my 1-up.
+1.
Well, that's actually something that I've heard frequently as a, not necessarily complaint, but feedback from a lot of players that have played AirMech, where it's like mixed units don't really have a purpose in the game. You know, in most RTS games, you should have a mix of units because that mix of functionality and capability will overwhelm any single unit blob as long as it doesn't get dramatically overwhelmed by numbers. But in AirMech, all tanks or pure tanks will almost always win against mixed unit composition, and that's kind of, I don't know, anti-RTS ideals.
I think that's partially attributed to most RTS games have a rock, paper, scissors, and hard counter format, or you have a particular unit that will always beat this particular other unit. But in AirMech, you can only take 8 units. If you start introducing hard counters, that means that you can basically just roll the dice when you match.
Yeah, well, I mean, provided there are enough combinations.
Sorry.
No, I'm good.
Yeah. And so, in general, in AirMech, and I feel like they've done a decent job at it so far, excluded jammer, hard counters don't really exist that much. There's a lot of units that, even though something might be better against this type of unit than another, it won't necessarily mean that just because you have gaddies doesn't mean that I can't use assassins, I can't use jumpers or whatever. The gaddies don't counter them that hard.
Yeah, I mean, you have to look at 1v1 perspective. Like, if everything had hard counters, it would be completely unplayable. You need these counters so it's possible to make a comeback or just, like, not punish you for picking this type of unit loadout.
Yep. I know that feeling there. I am completely with Frisky about the diversity. If anyone's seen me play ever, I play the most non-standard. I try to use the most different units possible. I don't play standard. The standard opening on duel is something I completely don't do. I don't do the tanks and ratchets and whatever. I played for months without using any healing units, and I can do just fine. And I think other players can do that. I think when you talk about pure tank pushes versus mixed unit pushes, what it comes down to is what players feel safe doing, not just what's better, but what they feel safe doing, because if you mixed in jackals along with your tanks, you can pump out a bit more DPS using some jackals instead of a fewer total count of longhorns, and you might be able to win a fight that way. But people are afraid of AoE bombs, all forms of AoE basically, and they want to play the safe way with the higher health unit with more armor.
I mean, and it's not unreasonable. It's definitely a reasonable thing to be afraid of AoE in this game. It's so damn effective. If you push with a lot of jackals or a lot of infantry mixed into your tank lines, then you're just susceptible to getting, that mixed composition severely killed by bombs or artillery or something like that, just because they die so much faster to bombs. So, the question I guess becomes, should something be done about that, or should we create even more dynamics to... never mind.
Well, I had one thing that I've seen in other games, and I've never brought it up in the forums because I figure no one would like the idea, but with AoE damage the way it is right now, it just does this large amount to the area. All the units take, whatever X amount of damage, whether they're closer to the middle or farther out. They might take less farther out, but instead of just dealing all this damage to all the units, you have X amount of damage that gets split between all the units that get hit. And that way the damage is actually shared between all the units more evenly.
I'm just thinking about that shared unit damage.
What if we go back to a world where area of effect damage doesn't exist?
Oh.
Or is that way too reactionary?
No, but I mean, okay, maybe I didn't describe it well. But if you got 100 damage in a circle and you have 4 units in there versus 10 units in there, the damage will be evenly distributed between the 10 units, and each unit will take less damage overall compared to the 4 units.
I don't know. That sounds awfully communist.
I don't like
actually,
either.
Yeah. I was actually thinking of converting the sergeant to do something similar to that with infantry. The weakness of infantry is AoE, so bring sergeants to maybe distribute the damage to the sergeants, maybe to have them tank AoE damage in some way, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, but the officer just gets raped and there goes everything.
God.
Sorry, I had to burst your bubble, but
no problem. I understand, though. We talked about this already.
Plus, they did give Sarge the infantry healing thing now, the aura.
Yeah, Sergeant doesn't currently buff infantry stats. It does give a slight healing aura. It's very gentle, though. But I guess, since their HP is so low, it actually is a lot.
Yeah, plus if you use an actual healing pilot like Kira or something, I believe that rate is actually higher.
But you also have to take it from the perspective that 2 tank shells will kill it, so...
Well, tank shells have a 50% chance to miss infantry, or something like that, so...
Or something really like that. Yeah, But yeah, Uncharted.
No one actually knows of the hard percentages except maybe Insane Fire.
Maybe.
So, but I do know that tank shells do miss infantry fairly frequently. I know that mechanic is in the game. I can't tell you what the exact percentage is.
I think I remember that it was 33%. What?
Oh, even if it misses, you have like 8 tanks firing at you. So who gives a crap?
Yeah, it's not really that big of a deal.
8 tanks versus 1 sergeant. I think we know who wins this battle, regardless of what the sergeant's stats and buffs are.
But yeah,
exactly.
Uncharted did mention, was not aware that the sergeant can buff the stats of infantry, but we never actually really were informed exactly what buffs are received. Were we? Does anybody know? No, right?
No.
Okay, so God.
I think it would be cool.
No,
to
as far
have
as I know, they
teams.
don't buff the stats. They only do healing.
They what?
Yeah, I think that's correct.
They heal?
Sergeants heal
sergeants
infantry in
give
their
a
command.
passive act, whatever you want to call it, healing aura to all the infantry by it. I'm not sure if there's a number limit to how many infantry it'll affect, but
3.
yeah.
It's only the ones in their command range. I've been using a lot of sergeants recently. They don't seem to give any buffs besides the healing. Might have a slight speed buff, but I don't think they do.
I mean, if there's a speed buff, it's not going to be noticeable. Unless you're combining it with Paladin speed buff.
No.
Alright,
Don't
anywho,
play
I'm out.
Paladin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Actually, we're
I'll see you
gonna
guys.
wrap it up.
Thank you for including me.
No, thanks for coming, Insomniac. Thank you very much for contributing. And actually, I probably will wrap it up right there, unless you guys have anything to add. No?
It's all you.
All right, so
Nerf jammer.
Nerf jammer. I do want to comment that Sanguinius113 has started a new Lego building competition, an AirMech Lego building competition. So make some AirMech related stuff. We were all kids at one point. Some of us still might be, and we definitely have played with Legos. I mean, if you haven't played with Legos in your life, then I feel sorry for you in your childhood. So drudge out any Lego pieces you have and try to make some AirMech related things, mechs, units, whatever. He has categories. You can make a mech, and each mech category can actually win a prize. If you make the, best mech out of the set, I don't know. But everyone who actually participates will receive a prize for whatever you create, because the more AirMech content, the better. So guys, this will conclude the inaugural episode of AirMech Talk. I know apparently at first my audio wasn't coming through, so I'll try to fix that for the future. Right now I just have it on 100% continuous. But yeah, just thank you for coming, and thank you to the panelists, Insomniac, who has already left, FriskyCow, and Tipsy3000. Thank you guys for contributing today.
No problem. Bye-bye.
And so guys, if you are interested in being a panelist on AirMech Talk, please contact me. There are several ways to contact me: through email, Steam, you can forum PM me, even YouTube message me, whatever, or AirMech mail. Either way, you have to have Mumble to be able to participate in this talk, and I'll try to make it a weekly or semi-weekly thing. We have a huge topic list, and if you're interested in asking questions, coming up with topics for the show, definitely leave a message in the forum thread, and I will see you guys next time.